Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. Today we return to talking about people supporting these violent criminals and terrible rioters and looters that are ruining our country and destroying the United States of America. I'm of course talking about the people supporting them in the public, and specifically, some are starting to give them monetary support as well. Yeah, it's really messed up because these guys are of course breaking stuff, rioting, setting places on fire, stealing things from Target and other stores. I mean, they're bad actors. They're bad criminals who are trying to ruin this country, and the people that support them are equally as bad, in my opinion. Sure, they're not committing the crimes themselves, but to defend that is almost to support it and also promote it and encourage other people to do it. And when you're in a position of power and have a position where you have a lot of people listening, you're on a platform, a significant presence on the internet, and you're spreading that kind of criminality, the pro-crime stuff, that's really bad. That's where things get super messed up, and that's what we're talking about today. Previously, we talked about how the mainstream media and the news have supported what they call protesters, which are really these violent people that go out and break stuff and steal and hurt people and throw bricks at stores. So they call them protesters and pretend these are safe demonstrations. But we know these are violent riot looting situations that need to stop, and that's why it's super messed up to find out what we've discovered today. Recently there's been a number of celebrities who have been supporting them, of course by using lip service and speaking up on Twitter, but that's not enough. Now they're actually donating money and getting these losers bailed out of jail. This example for today comes from The Hill. It says Steve Carell, Janelle Monáe, and Cynthia Nixon and other celebrities help protesters make bail. So that means these protesters got arrested for a good reason. They committed a crime. They did something wrong. Police put them in jail. And now these celebrities are bailing them out and giving them another chance to commit more crimes. They're taking these prisoners and putting them back on the streets. They're supporting criminals. I mean, it's crazy. I can't believe it, especially coming from some celebrities that I appreciate. Steve Carell, I mean, come on, dude. We loved you, man. The Office, Anchorman, 40-Year-Old Virgin, lots of movies. I mean, lots of great movies. Steve Carell, you were my hero. I was even trying to give you some love with your new Space Force show. We had a video about it a couple days ago when they had that AOC parody, and I was talking about the show. I was trying to give it some credit, but damn, dude. Now you want to ruin that? Do you want no one to watch your shows ever again? Because I could care less about these other guys. I'm not even sure who they are. I think this chick was on Sex and the City or something. I don't really know. But dude, Steve Carell, man, that's heartbreaking. Come on. That's what she said. That's what she said. That's his joke. He owns it. But for some reason, now we got to watch Steve Carell and all these guys kind of kowtow to a bunch of criminals. It's super sad. Messed up, but let's read on anyway. This is an article from The Hill, and I wanted to see how they frame it and show you how messed up and dumb this is. I mean, like I said, I gave you a perfect introduction. I mean, these guys are rioting, they're looting, they're hurting people, they're stealing stuff, they're criminals, and they're bailing them out, but this is being framed as heroic and great, and that's why we need to kind of defend and talk about the truth here. So the article's called Celebrities Help Minneapolis Protesters Make Bail. Several Hollywood stars make donations to support arrested protesters. There's a picture of Steve Carell. Basically, you broke my heart. You broke my heart, Steve. You broke my heart, Steve. Okay? I'm mad at you right now. As the death of George Floyd brings national attention to Minneapolis, protests have progressed from demonstrations to a police precinct being set aflame and damage to private property and businesses, resulting in multiple arrests. Now people are rallying to help arrested protesters make bail, including some high-profile donors. The Minnesota Freedom Fund, a nonprofit organization that facilitates cash bail donations, has launched a resource page to fundraise bail for the Minneapolis protesters who have been arrested. The page has been widely circulated on social media since Thursday and has garnered dozens of donations around the $50 mark. Okay, not much money so far, but it is interesting they call it the Minnesota Freedom Fund, and they're trying to free, like, criminals, like people that are violent. Like, I'm not sure if there were some people, like, I'm sure a few people got arrested and they got caught in the mix of it. Okay, maybe there's a few people, like, not everyone that's arrested is guilty either. You have to convict them of a crime, yada, yada, yada. We know all that. That's all the preface we need, but we also know that there's a lot of bad things going on. In addition, if you're out there, I would say at this point you should know and be aware that you're asking for trouble. Like if you go to one of these riots, you're very likely to get hurt, injured, or arrested. I mean, you're just in the mix of it. If you hang out in sketchy areas, sketchy things happen to you. Really, people should be avoiding these. They should be staying home. They shouldn't be showing up and taking pictures and trying to get involved and get a social media post or something. That's risky, that's dangerous, and that's how people get hurt. The chain linking Twitter users to the fund gained even more traction when it was retweeted by the Safdie brothers, two notable independent directors whose recent filmography includes the critically acclaimed 2019 movie Uncut Gems starring Adam Sandler and Idina Menzel. Matched here, this is the directors sharing it, and then it says, after this tweet, other Hollywood heavyweights took notice. Since Thursday, Seth Rogen, Ben Schwartz, and Steve Carell have all commented that they matched donations to help protesters make bail. So here's Steve Carell matching Ben Schwartz. Those two, of course, are on that new Space Force show. Seth Rogen we know about from some other movies. He used to be funny, too. He used to perform with Steve Carell as well on that 50-year-old virgin movie. Or sorry, 30-year-old, 40-year-old virgin. God, I can't get that number right. I'm already forgetting about your movies, Steve Carell. That's what's happening here. I'm just kind of deleting those memories. Those memories are getting offloaded because you broke my heart, kid. You broke my heart, kid. I already had to go through this with Seth Rogen. I used to love his movies too. I'll still watch their stuff. I'll still kind of separate the person from the art. Ben Schwartz is another funny guy that I appreciated. He's also the guy who does the voice for Sonic. So we're seeing a lot of our favorite comics here kind of go down, kind of embarrass themselves, show that, for one, they don't know what they're talking about. Two, they're kind of these liberal shills going along with this kind of violence. They're supporting the worst kinds of people, and it's really bad. As of Friday morning, other celebrities, including actor and singer Janelle Monáe, television presenter and activist Jamila Jamil, actor Patton Oswalt, and actor and former New York gubernatorial candidate Cynthia Nixon have donated and tweeted out their support for Minnesota protests. Now, this is a mix of people I don't know, people I've kind of heard of, and people I don't care about. I mean, Patton Oswalt in the middle, he's a funny guy. He used to do some great work too, but he's also one that's become this terrible, like, anti-Trump loser. The first two girls I really don't know or care about. Cynthia Nixon, I think, like I said, I think she was on Sex and the City. Most known for Sex and the City, which was a show. So basically, they're saying like she was famous many years ago, like 10 or 20 years ago. I don't know. Sex and the City, the last movie was 10 years ago. The show was like 20 years ago. So other thing that's not surprising is this is Christine, their partner. I guess she's a lesbian. These are lesbian LGBT people. Take that as you will. That's probably part of the reason they're supporting this kind of craziness, this kinds of, terrible activism. They're a Democrat. She's trying to get involved in politics. She started off in this kind of acting world, but thinks she's an influential politician now. It's classic fake news, classic celebrities getting involved where they shouldn't be. These people should just be working on their acting. They should be writing movies, recording music, doing their thing. There's nothing wrong with them. But the fact that they think everyone needs to know about their politics and they need to virtue signal and say, hey, we support these protesters. I mean, they're destroying our country. They're burning things down and destabilizing everything. But these guys also don't care. It doesn't affect them. They don't have anything to worry about. They live in gated communities. They have security guards. They have, all this security stuff on their house. They live in these mansions that are basically like forts that are locked up and gated and have security, and they have all the stuff they need. They don't have to worry about stuff. So that's why they don't care about real world issues. Like, for example, I know myself, I bet a lot of you got a little scared this week. I mean, I live in a pretty safe area, and even so, a couple nights ago, I woke up because I thought I heard people outside. Maybe I was being paranoid, but you see all this stuff going on in the news, and you think, hey, Maybe one of these rioters or looters is in our town. Maybe someone in the neighborhood got bold and decided to rob someone else too. I mean, there actually have been a few car break-ins in different areas I've known about, I've been close to. So it is kind of emboldening other people. And this kind of support from celebrities makes it worse. And that's why this is a very dangerous, very volatile situation. And it's really bad for these kinds of high-profile people with millions of followers on Twitter, Instagram. People watch their movies every day. They think that someone in that position, they think these people are smart and might know what they're talking about, but clearly they don't. Clearly they're in bubbles. Clearly they're sheltered and don't understand how the real world works. And that's what's resulted in them taking these far left sides, which usually, you got to remember, this isn't necessarily always, oh, this is what they believe either. I mean, they're not really necessarily, oh, I'm trying to be all pro this or pro that. Like, they don't all happen to be liberal by accident. It's because that's the machine. Hollywood is a liberal area. It's run by a bunch of leftists, a bunch of far left commies, socialist types in California. And if these actors and these others, these are kinds of low level people, actually. I mean, a few of them might have producer credits or director credits, but for the most part, these are just actors and like bit players. So there's more people above them that they're trying to impress, the directors, the producers, the owners of the studio. And that's why they got a kind of virtue signal. They're trying to toe this line to get themselves more work and more like positive attention. They'll see, say a director sees that Steve Carell donated to this cause, and then he clicks on his Twitter and says, hey, Steve, you want to audition for my movie? Janelle Monáe might be looking for a new record contract, so she tweets support for BLM, and then all of a sudden Sony's knocking at her door, giving her a record deal. I mean, this is part of it. This is part of their kind of PR at this point. I know it sucks and it's a different era. It used to not be like this. It used to be more like celebrities might just have like a charity they support. It'd be something more less political. I mean, charities can be political too, but if you're just someone that goes to a conference for, say, oh, we're supporting cancer patients, I mean, that's pretty easily to kind of, everyone could get behind. There's not much politics or sides to that. I mean, you could argue how charities kind of embezzle money and pay their people over too much. They could pay too much and only 1 or 2% actually gets to the actual charitable delivery person. But the point is, this is part of their PR too. This is part of the system. They don't even necessarily believe all this. They might just be saying it to fit in or to get more work or stuff like that. So with that in mind, we've got more tweets here. This is Jamila saying she donated $1,000 here. Here's Patton Oswalt with the $50 donation. Seth Rogen here's donating. Cynthia. We can see their donations, the Freedom Fund. They're trying to get these people out of jail, even though they committed crimes, even though a lot of them, probably deserve to be arrested. But that's where we are today. It's not really about law and order or baying or doing the right thing. It's about following the right narrative for your side. And unfortunately, the left-wing side involves a lot of terror, a lot of chaos, a lot of fear-mongering, and doing the wrong thing, really. Celebrities have a history in being involved in social activism, whether physically participating or financially supporting. In 2015, musical power couple Beyonce and Jay-Z reportedly donated tens of thousands of dollars to bail out protesters arrested in Baltimore after the death of Freddie Gray, another black man who died while in police custody. Again, that's kind of a vague statement. Like, for example, in this situation, the new case, the guy was committing a crime. He resisted arrest. He didn't deserve to die. No one really deserves to die unless you're tried and given the capital punishment. But they try to frame it up like they never did anything wrong. And they also try to assume there's a lot of racism that's not always there. I mean, in this Minnesota case, there was 4 different races in that group of 4 cops. It was a white guy, an Asian guy, a black guy, and Hispanic. I mean, pretty damn diverse. And they all were there when it happened, and it was a bad situation. Definitely someone got killed, someone should get punished. But to say that's racism and to say, oh, it just happened and pretend the guy was innocent and didn't do nothing, I mean, that's just a misrepresentation of the scene, totally. And if we're going to address this stuff real and honestly, like, we got to be truthful. We got to explain it the way it actually happened. We can't be afraid to describe things real. I know I have to kind of walk around it. I have to kind of be careful because I want to make sure You guys know I don't defend the person. I want justice to happen. The death was terrible, but at the same time, we can't keep fanning the flames and getting these people out of jail because they act like they didn't do anything wrong. It's just a total mismatch and a total lack of understanding of what's right and wrong. That about wraps things up. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you comment your thoughts on everything below. Hit that like button to help support this channel. And until next time, you guys have a great day.